Pupils now sit 2 GCSEs in maths with the WJC exam board, one covering numeracy called the GCSE Maths Numeracy, and one other covering aspects of maths techniques called GCSE Maths. Both GCSEs have an emphasis on those aspects of maths which are most relevant to learners functioning as informed 21st century citizens. They will prepare pupils to make decisions about further learning opportunities and career choices. There will also be opportunities for pupils to make informed decisions about the management of money and the use of statistics. Okay, let's look at the numeracy GCSE in a bit more detail then. So the GCSE Maths Numeracy will build on and progress from the levels of numeracy expected at the end of Key Stage 3 through the literacy and numeracy framework. It will assess the maths that learners will need in their everyday lives, in the world of work and in other general curriculum areas. If we look at this question here, it was taken from a numeracy paper at intermediate tier. So this question is about a man called Gareth who has packed his suitcase to go on holiday, and the maximum weight allowance is 20 kilograms, and he's weighed his suitcase and it is 21.13 kilograms. So Gareth knows that he needs to remove items from his suitcase, but he wants to remove items which will allow him to still be as close to 20 kilograms as possible and not greater than 20 kilograms. So pupils sitting this paper would then need to look at these weights and determine which 2 items Gareth may have removed. As you can see, a question that is very much linked to real life. There are a lot of words in this question, and that is a typical numeracy question. Now to look at the Maths GCSE. So this will build on and progress from the levels of maths expected at the end of Key Stage 3 through the National Curriculum Programme of Study for Maths, and will extend to aspects of maths needed for progression to scientific, technical and further mathematical study. So again, I have a past paper question here, and the questions here are more linked to maths itself, and it's quite obvious what you would need to do in the question. So for example, here it tells you that you need to factorise this expression, which is 10a minus 15. And below it, it tells the pupils to solve that equation. So it's a lot more straightforward, knowing what to do in comparison then to numeracy, which is your maths in everyday life. There's more content in the Maths GCSE where pupils will need to know all the content of their numeracy GCSE, along with algebra, geometry and probability. The assessment for both GCSEs is at 3 tiers: higher, intermediate and foundation, and the externally assessed papers are targeted at the grade of ranges A* to C for higher tier, B to E at intermediate tier and D to G at foundation tier. Both GCSEs are assessed entirely by written examinations. Pupils will sit 2 papers for the GCSE Maths Numeracy and 2 papers for the GCSE Maths. Each paper is worth 50% of the overall mark of the GCSE. A calculator will not be allowed in the first written paper, called Unit 1. Pupils will be allowed a calculator for the second paper that they sit, which is called Unit 2. To achieve their potential in maths, pupils must demonstrate a certain commitment. It is important that pupils remain up to date with the classwork and homework set to enable them to make good progress and build upon existing knowledge over the 2-year period in preparation for their written examination. If you would like to buy revision guides and workbooks to aid revision, we advise buying these CGP books for the GCSE WJC Maths. These books cover both the Maths and Numeracy GCSE. The Maths department also offers the WJC Level 2 certificate in additional maths as an extracurricular qualification taught after school in the autumn term of Year 11 for those pupils that would like to study A-level maths at college or sixth form. Thank you very much for listening.